Welcome to Second Take with Ashwin Betty as we relax into the holidays. It is Christmas week. It's time to finally take a break. Finally take a break. Those words are currently resonating with one particular former leader in Zambia, and today's episode is a tribute to him, the one, the only, Edgar Lungu.
Santa has a festive surprise for you. Starting 2nd December, unwrap the magic of Christmas with our Advent calendar. Spot the Christmas globes in your favorite newspapers from Monday to Friday. Scan the QR code or WhatsApp hashtag Advent Calendar 24 to the Synergy chatbot. Find the Christmas globes on NTV. Or visit our Facebook pages for daily Advent doors from Monday to Saturday. Win daily prizes. Lucky winners will be contacted and Logistics Hub Namibia will deliver your prize. Merry Christmas from Santa and his proud prize sponsors.
So, Edgar Lungu, the time has come. After all the political circus, all the stories, all the campaigning, all the de-campaigning, the Constitutional Court of Zambia has decided that Edgar Lungu cannot run for president again. That is sad for some people. Not Hakainde Hichilema. He actually had just fired 2 Constitutional Court judges. I don't know if that has anything to do with the ruling itself, but I know Hakainde Hichilema is celebrating with a glass of water or Fanta because he made it a point to tell Zambians that he does not drink. As for Edgar Lungu, he has been the main actor. If you're in South Africa, Edgar Lungu is Jacob Zuma. You know what I mean? If you're in Zimbabwe, Edgar Lungu is Mnangagwa Chiwenga and the entire ZANU-PF operation. If you're in Namibia, you are grateful because there's actually no Edgar Lungu. But there's been one Edgar Lungu in Zambia. And, the people who support him really felt that he brought some positive aspects to Zambia. However, some things were just hard to escape. His abrasiveness, his approach to power and control, those cadres. I know the Zambians relate, which is why we're dedicating this episode to Edgar Lungu. All the times we've spoken about him, all the times Zambia has spoken about Edgar Lungu, and ultimately this is us saying goodbye to a man that we won't miss. Cheers. Zambia's former president Edgar Lungu has graciously called for an early election, citing his successor Hakainde Hichilema's apparent inability to turn the economy into a utopian paradise overnight. Mr. Lungu, who has a track record of economic wizardry that rivals a toddler's attempt at building a brick house, believes it's high time for Zambians to rise up and demand change. At a recent opposition media briefing, Mr. Lungu passionately implored the citizens to pressure President Hichilema into acknowledging that an early election is imperative, because nothing says political competence like throwing around words like imperative without actually explaining why. Lungu also took the opportunity to showcase his newfound concern for public health, accusing Hichilema of miserably handling the cholera outbreak that has allegedly claimed the lives of nearly 600 people since last October. In response to Lungu's call for an early election, the government spokesperson Cornelius Mwetwa dismissed the allegations with the nonchalance of a person swatting away a pesky fly. Mwetwa urged Zambians to exercise the virtue of patience and give President Hichilema the time he needs to fulfill his campaign promises, subtly suggesting that miracles take a bit longer than expected. Of course, it is a little awkward that during his opposition days, Hichilema promised low cost for fuel, and now Zambians are facing the highest fuel price hikes in the country's history. That said, Mweta also didn't dismiss the chance to throw some shade at Lungu, accusing him of single-handedly ruining the country's economy during his 6-year reign, which was marred by rampant corruption, economic mismanagement, and questionable decision-making. You know, the usual menu. Mr. Lungu's comeback to politics last October was met with such enthusiasm that the government promptly withdrew his retirement benefits, a move akin to taking away candy from a baby, if that baby had a penchant for economic mismanagement and a knack for stirring up trouble. It's a thrilling time for Zambian politics, and I look forward to sitting down and enjoying the show with a cold beverage, recommended by Mr. Lungu, of course. Zambia's political landscape precariously hangs on the edge of turmoil, this with the recent return of former President Edgar Lungu to the political arena, a move that follows his defeat in the last presidential election. Now, Lungu's recent controversial comment that Zambians may rise against the current administration has sent shockwaves throughout the nation, hinting at potential civilian unrest. So, the man who once led the nation through what many describe as the most brutal regime, particularly because of the cadres he unleashed on civilians, is now at the forefront of alleging police brutality, a claim vehemently refuted by former Vice President Nevers Mumba. Mumba boldly asserts that Lungu, of all people, lacks the credibility to decry alleged police misconduct, considering his past record. You know, Lungu complaining about police brutality is essentially like Jacob Zuma complaining about state capture. You know, many accuse Lungu of being drunk on power, sometimes literally. But I would like to submit that hypocrisy needs no alcoholic courage. It comes naturally to politicians. Lungu's return to the political scene is much like the absent father that left and came back only to find that the locks have been changed. And so he is screaming from the gate, hoping that someone misses him enough to open up for him. But alas, Zambia seems to have moved on from him, because contrary to popular belief, you can't cure a political hangover with a double shot of delusion. Zambia President Hakainde Hichilema has issued a stern warning to former President Edgar Lungu, saying, if you break the law, you find yourself behind bars. Here he is in his own words.
I'm expecting each and every one of them to be arrested. You can't claim to do that in the name of supporting HH. Akonaman. I hear people talk about immunity. Why are you talking about immunity? The immunity of the head of state is only relevant during the time they are in the presidency. The crimes they commit outside the presidency is not covered by that immunity. That's the law. If the police are failing, I'll use the army.
So, apparently, Lungu has been making uninvited guest appearances in markets, instigating rival groups to clash like a political party crasher. Addressing the issue of Lungu's retirement benefits, Hichilema pointed out that the law is pretty straightforward. Benefits are only for those genuinely retired from politics. Meanwhile, Zambia's former First Lady Esther Lungu and her daughter Chiyeso Katete have been arrested over the possession of property suspected to be proceeds of crime. The arrests made in Lusaka included another family member, Charles Piri. Now, the state anti-drug agency stated that Esther Lungu failed to give a reasonable explanation for a $1.5 million estate. Edgar Lungu, ever the protective patriarch, declared the family would challenge the charges in court, accusing the government of victimizing his patriotic front party to hinder his political comeback ahead of the 2026 elections. Now, Lungu has been claiming house arrest due to his political activities, although the government denies this. Last September, his wife was arrested over allegations of corruption involving motor vehicles and title deeds, charges she denied. And more recently, she was nabbed for allegedly acquiring luxurious real estate in Lusaka fraudulently. 15 white double-story flats, no less, suspected to be proceeds of crime. Now, Edgar Lungu, after losing the presidency to Hichilema in 2021 and leaving Zambia in a financial quagmire, announced a political comeback last October, prompting the government to withdraw his retirement benefits. Now, Lungu's tenure left the nation heavily indebted and economically fragile. Now, President Hichilema is on a mission to reclaim resources allegedly pilfered through Lungu's administration, though critics argue this anti-corruption drive is politically motivated. And I'm here to ask, is corruption not politically motivated?
As the holiday season draws near,
ShopRite and Synergy Chatbot are delivering the Christmas spirit. Welcome at Santa's Wishlist. Follow the instructions to submit your drawing and letter to Santa. Step 1. Start by drawing a picture for Santa. And when you're done, just jot down a few details about yourself right next to it. Step 2. Scan the QR code and it will open up WhatsApp with a little message that says #ShopRiteSanta. Just send that message to Santa. Or if you like, you can also type #ShopRiteSanta into WhatsApp and send it to the number as indicated. Step 3. Follow the simple steps in the chatbot and submit your name and age. And most excitingly, the present you've picked from the list. Don't forget to include your physical address so Santa can find his way to you. Step 4. Once you've completed the previous steps, snap a photo of your drawing and your letter to Santa to submit your entry.
Now, remember, I'm looking forward to all the wonderful drawings and letters you'll be sending my way. See you soon, and keep spreading that holiday cheer. Ho, ho, ho!
All right, so that's enough of Edgar Lungu. I was actually in Zambia in 2024. It was a fantastic time, and for those second takers who don't know much about Zambia, I shot a podcast there, and it was very insightful, and that's how we're closing off the show. Second Take is coming to you from Zambia, and my oh my, what a beautiful, beautiful place to be. And I'm excited to get into the show with you. So let's talk about Zambia for a bit. You know, Zambia are the chief exporters of copper. Don't ask them too much about who's doing the manufacturing of the copper. Comes from Zambia, and they send it out. That's what matters. All of Africa's big five can be found in Zambia. You know, we're talking lions, rhinos, elephants. There's also Victoria Falls. It's shared by Zambia and Zimbabwe. Do not say that to Zambians. If you know what's good for you, just if you're in Zambia, Victoria Falls is in Zambia. Don't get creative. Don't start saying no, but the geography and then the statue is this side. However, you know, when you look at the Victoria Falls debate between Zambians and Zimbabweans, you realize that one, Zambians and Zimbabweans might be the only Africans who are capable of banter that doesn't turn violent. Because that banter has been going on for years and years. And it's always fun. Sometimes you see someone post on TikTok, you know, maybe someone from Europe going, oh, I'm visiting Victoria Falls in Zimbabwe. And then the first messages you see under there is Zimbabweans saying they are coming. And indeed, they will arrive, Zambians, to come and take on that debate. But, you know, between Zambia and Zimbabwe, I realized there's a way that we can handle this. There's a way that Zambia and Zimbabwe can figure out the Victoria Falls debate. And I'm going to put this proposal to both countries. Whoever won the last football match has got the Vic Falls until the next football match. Now, because I'm in Zambia, I don't want to talk about who won the last football match. You can do your own research. But I think that could be a good way for the banter to continue in a healthy manner, and we can at least have some semblance of, a system that allows us to, establish where Victoria Falls is going day to day. So Victoria Falls, very big in Zambia. Mosiwa Tunya, it means the smoke that thunders. What a beautiful, beautiful name. You actually wonder why it stayed being named Victoria Falls. You know what I mean? Mosiwa Tunya, the smoke that thunders. It's got more texture. It's got more vibrato, more oomph. It's got more spine. But, it is what it is. However, speaking of Mosiwa Tunya, Zambian lager, Mosi lager. Oh, my goodness. Quality stuff. I just heard of a referral. I'm not saying I had it myself. I'm joking. Of course, I had some Mosi Lager. It's beautiful. I think Mosi Lager should have its own statue when you enter Zambia so that people can understand that it is definitely one of the good things that come out of this wonderful country. So, Zambia is surrounded by 8 countries, which is, super cool. So, Angola, DRC, Tanzania, Malawi, Mozambique, Zimbabwe, Botswana, and Namibia. And of course, Zambian people are incredibly friendly. And South Africans can't relate. You know what I mean? wink. But Zambian people are incredibly friendly, very, very welcoming. In fact, sometimes you find that if you don't say where you are, they're not concerned. Where you're coming from, they're not concerned about where you're coming from, really. They're just concerned, with the experience that you have, and the respect. Because they've had, something I noticed also from the social landscape is there's quite a few folks that come from different places, India, Somalia. When I say quite a few, I'm underselling it. Quite a lot. There's quite a lot of them. But Zambians are very welcoming people if you are respectful to their hospitality, if you know what I mean. If you're not respectful to their hospitality, there's a lot of space going down Mosiwa Tunya. I'm just putting that for you. So, lively cities, lively people, very, very friendly. Zambia has got the legendary, it's now etched in history, the legendary AFCON 2012 champions, Chipolo Polo. And they've also got the best football team in Zambia, Copper Queens. Yes, I said it. I'm sorry. I'm not watching Chipolo Polo at Olympics. I don't make the rules. The highest paid female footballers in the world play for the Copper Queens. So if you're a Chipolo Polo guy, that's good. But I'm just saying the best team in Zambia is Copper Queens. I ask you to prove me wrong. But speaking of Copper Queens, really cool watching them at the Olympics. They had great games. But I was frustrated. And I'm starting to think that it's bordering on we are persecuting one person. Barbara Banda, how many times is she going to score a hat-trick and the Copper Queens don't win? We can't keep doing this to her. She's carrying the brand by herself, but to score a hat-trick and to not win, that's painful. It can't keep happening. So I'm going to put it up there. Let's figure out how we can do right by Barbara Banda. But she's an incredible captain for the Copper Queens. And just like many other African countries, the social political landscape is booming. There's always something happening in Z. And I've touched on a couple of those subjects, a couple of those stories, and we'll get into them a little later in the show. We'll recap so you can see what has been said. I'm not going to say anything today. I'm not surrounded by Namibians here. I'm just trying to be, a good guest. I'm not trying to do too much. But I think that's one of the things that I really love about Zambia. Everything is vibrant. The political landscape is vibrant. The social landscape is also, very, very vibrant. And speaking of vibrancy, their entertainment industry has a king. His name is Your Maps. Did you hear that, Namibia? I said their entertainment industry has a king. His name is Your Maps. We're going to talk about that with a Zambian. But how we can fix that situation. You know what happened. I know what happened. And so today I'm a diplomat. I want to broker a deal between Zambian creatives and Namibian creatives to see how we can move past this situation. If you're not sure what the situation is, we'll talk about it a little later in the show. But as you know, my name is Ash Krimberi. This is Second Take. Let's get into the rest of the show, Zambia edition. Now, I should let you know that Zambian youth are not just vibrant. They are enterprising. I mean, they will get it done. They believe in the open free market. Whether you have a degree or you don't have a degree, they're always trying to figure out a way to make some good money. They believe in their own autonomy. They really want to be in control of their futures, and it's something that I truly admire. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's my copper belt boys, they're a little different with their hustle, but their hustle is very consistent. But sometimes the youth can be a little too enterprising. Just a little too enterprising. Let me tell you a story about this guy. This is a real story. I'm not going to tell you the guy's name, but it's a real story. A Zambian medical student made a bet. Yeah, he was betting with some people, borrowed money. You know the story. And then he lost that money. So normally what happens, when you don't have money and you've got money to pay back, you try to figure out, okay, should we do this in installments? You know what I mean? How can we negotiate a way for me to give you what is rightfully yours? But being enterprising, this guy decided to pretend to be abducted. That's what happened. So he actually had people call his father and say that he had been abducted. And apparently the guy had just lost like 3,000 kwacha. But from his father, they asked for 80,000 kwacha, which is crazy. I mean, because that's your dad. Like, first of all, like, you know, your father has worked hard to put you where you are. He's already put enough money into your life. But to pretend to be abducted, you know what I mean? To try to manipulate him in that manner is a little too extreme. And unfortunately for the student, he got caught. And the only thing that can come to my mind is that he put a bet on Manchester United. And this is something we need to address right now. Let us not invest in losses. Okay, in life you must be wise. Manchester United is a wonderful institution that can't do much for you today. Now you are lying to your father, and I think that can be avoided by making reasonable decisions, like taking a break from the English Premier League and coming back as an Arsenal supporter. So, joining me now is Kachi, a Zambian artist. As I said, I am here on a diplomatic mission. Namibia, we have something to answer for. We have a tough discussion to have. But before we get into that, let's get to know Kachi. How's it going, brother?
Good, bro. How you doing?
Solid. Welcome to Second Take.
Thank you for having me.
It's good to have you here, man. So what's your art form? What's your practice?
Well, I'm a Zambian gospel artist. I'm into pop. Basically contemporary music.
Contemporary music.
I use in different styles of music.
Yeah. No, because you have to say that to me. I was raised Adventist. If you tell me gospel artist, I think you're part of an a cappella group, you know?
Oh, yeah. So I mix different kind of genres and just make them work.
Oh, you just make them work. All right. And how long have you been in the industry?
For 15 years now.
15 years?
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah.
No, that's real, man. You've put in the hours. You've put in the hours for sure. And you're still going.
Yeah, sure.
Still going.
Still getting stronger.
Still getting. How do you feel about the Zambian entertainment like landscape, you know?
Well, right now I feel the Zambian music entertainment is really growing. Way back it was different. At least now we're able to make money off it and make a living out of it. So it's really doing great.
Yeah, way back it was a stress. Huh?
Yeah. If you look at our content, our video quality and music quality as well, it's really at least competing with other different countries.
All right, for sure.
So for me, that's a win.
Yeah, that's for sure. Now, when you do gospel, especially like contemporary, you know what I mean? Because you're essentially talking about, you know, the message in your own unique way.
Yeah.
Aren't like the first people who like oppose you, like the ones from the church.
Exactly.
Like, they're like, you're moving away from what we do traditionally.
There's always people who talk like that. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's a matter of me having a relationship with God and simply spreading what I believe in is true.
All right.
So I don't really get that as a bad thing to me. So
all right. Have you been to Namibia?
No.
What have you heard about Namibia? Is there anything? We'll get to the subject at hand. But what else have you heard about Namibia?
It's kind of funny. I had a conversation with a friend yesterday. We were talking about Namibia. Really, we're trying to ask, like, what does Namibia really export or do?
Yeah.
Most of the time, we only get to see Namibia when it comes to football.
Oh yeah, football when you meet Brave Warriors. I mean, I can talk about a couple of things that top of my head. Very big exporters of fish, but don't Google fish rot. Don't Google fish rot. Just focus on the positive aspects. Okay. so like fish. Namibia is getting into green hydrogen. Okay. They just discovered oil.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. So like just off the coast of Namibia. And when it comes to like green hydrogen, it's also because Namibia's got like wide landscapes. Okay. Lusaka, for example, is a population of 4.5 million people. Yeah. The entire Namibia is like 3.2 million people.
For real?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's crazy, right?
I need to visit Namibia.
Yeah, you have to visit Namibia. But I'm sure you'd want your visit to go better than your Maps' visit.
Yeah. What happened was really bad. Man. Yeah. The news was everywhere.
Yeah, it was a little crazy. And to be very honest, I mean, you know, the guys in uniform do what the guys in uniform do. But I feel like as the guys who are part of the entertainment industry, and you saw even with the Namibian lawyers who represented him, there was some regret, some real regret.
That was really a blow to him.
Yeah. And he's a huge artist. Let's talk about Your Maps. Your Maps is the biggest artist in
right
Zambia.
now. It's like the biggest export that Zambia has. Trust me.
It's like it's copper and Your Maps.
Yeah, you understand.
and I heard I was in a taxi earlier that Your Maps once filled up Independence Stadium.
Yes, it did.
With people outside.
Exactly.
60%
And I was there, I was
capacity.
like, he made us believe anything is possible.
Yeah.
You know, that's something that every artist dreams of,
Yeah.
you know, and seeing it happen, a fellow artist doing it was like really, you know,
And you know, when he
motivating.
campaigned for another president, he also made him, you know, believe that
Yeah.
anything is possible. But that's another story. Okay, so but yeah, look, your maps, there's no question. I mean, you won't find a video that's maybe even less than 5 million views.
Yeah.
And I think for Namibians, you know, especially the artists felt bad because the artists love your maps, you know what I mean? And they were like, this is an opportunity for us to be able to collaborate with the guy, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And he's a cool guy.
He's a cool guy, a proper guy. And I kind of felt bad because when you look at your maps and stories, he comes from a really rough place. You know what I mean? A really, really rough place.
It's inspirational, trust me. Like, coming from a humble beginning
Humble
to
beginnings, you know what I mean?
getting there.
Yeah, getting there. And I mean, the guy needed a break after that issue with the car.
Yeah. I think that's the issue of being in the limelight. Like everything is just
everything flows through you. Everything flows through you. Okay,
Yeah.
so what happened is what happened. Okay,
Yeah.
so how do you think we can now like try foster, you know, relations like for artists like you who, you know, have seen, you know, are curious about Namibia and you want to go there, and for Namibian artists who could definitely benefit from the Zambian landscape, I think where we can start is Katima Mulilo.
Oh yeah.
Because in Katima, your maps is the biggest.
Okay.
Oh yeah. If you're in Katima, what happened in Windhoek would not have happened. You're starting a riot, my friend.
Yo.
You can't do that. He belongs to them. I believe Namibians from Katima Mulilo would be ready to fight Zambians over your maps.
Wow.
They would be ready to be like,
he's an international artist.
He
belongs here.
He belongs here, you know. So of course, you know, knowing that he's got that following, you know, right now there's that place where our countries meet. There's this where all 4 countries meet. You know, Botswana, Zambia, Zimbabwe, Namibia. They're calling that CASA. And something that they're working out over there is they're trying to do like a CASA visa, and they already spoke about it, where you get into one of the countries and then you can just flow into one of the countries. Do you think it would be cool if they could have a creative visa like that?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because most of the times artists are always moving up and about. So if there was an easier way to, you know, maneuver around.
You know what I mean? And even if you
Makes
say,
sense.
you know, 10-day, 30-day visa, what you work is what you
That
work.
would make sense.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And maybe we can agree, you know, if you want our money, you tax some kind of
Yeah,
tax as
just
you are
something,
leaving
you know.
type thing. But do you feel like it's conducive, you know, this thing where creatives who are already free flowing, already mixing and mingling? Social media has no borders.